how's it going everyone? Sun Skyline and welcome to my channel. So another week has drifted by, which means missions, challenges and lots more to look forward to. So we have the second week of Mara Sov's Wish Quest and we've been asked to open Ascendant chests. So, if you're wondering what Ascendant chests are, they are basically located in lost sectors all around the Dreaming City. But it's a different lost sector. You will require a special Tincture of Queen's Foil. Don't worry, if you haven't got one, you can purchase one from Petra. And you will need this tincture to access the special portal within the lost sector, but more about that later in the video. For our PvP community, the weekly Crucible nodes on rotation is Mayhem and Elimination. So if you're just trying to complete challenges or just playing for fun. So, moving on, we have Moments of Triumph that started last week. Requires different triumphs to be completed with great rewards can be earned along the way, including this amazing exotic ghost, but more about this later in the video. So, we have this week's exotic rotator mission is the returning Presage, home of the exotic Dead Man's Tale scout rifle, and is now fully craftable. Plus the mission has some spicy legendary weapons not to be missed. So we have up next is the legendary dungeon on rotation for the week, and is one of the longest and has been in Destiny since season 4 is the Shattered Throne. It has some amazing bosses, definitely a dungeon to go in and have a go. Unfortunately, it does need to be updated though. Up next is our weekly Grandmaster, and it's the return of one of our favourites, the Corrupted. And the adept weapon that is available is the Uzum sniper rifle that rolls with some amazing perks. So it's definitely worth taking a look. Or if you're not after farming for the weapon, then it's definitely worth going to try and get your Conqueror or Gilded. So moving on to my favourite section, and up next is the weekly Rotator Raid. And this is Bolt of Glass, home of the fully automatic fusion rifle, the Vex Mytha class. Or if you're just wanting to complete the raid challenges. Saving the best for last, one of my favourite raids is Master Crota, and completing a weekly challenge guarantees an adept weapon for the reward, and is one of the easiest out of the raid challenges, so definitely worth running all 3 characters to try and get that perfect god roll. So let's jump straight in for the weekly breakdown of what's happening in Destiny this week. But before we do, I hope you're enjoying my content, and it would be very helpful if you could leave a comment and hit the subscribe button. This really helps me one step further towards being affiliated and growing my channel. So let's put the pedal to the metal and zoom straight in. So, kicking off with Marsov and the continuation of a quest called Wish. The Wish is a time gated each week and is for a period of 6 weeks. This week's challenge is the Ascendant chest. So, if you haven't done an Ascendant challenge before, what are they? Basically, the Ascendant challenges are the several moving parts involving the Dreaming City and the Curse. The Ascendant challenge will require a material called Tincture Foil, and if you do not have one in your inventory, you can buy one from Petra, so don't panic. She has them on her second page. Just a tip, don't take the tincture until you are ready to jump in the taken portal, because the tincture is time related. But don't worry, you have plenty of time. This week's lost sector for reset is the 4-5 shrine located in the gardens of Visilla. This doesn't have a lost sector for this challenge, so as you enter the area there is some water and a waterfall on the right. If you pop your tincture, you will see the taken portal opposite by some rocks. Morozovs reward us with a wish token that can be used in 3 categories. The first category is a last wish weapon that you can choose, which is a red border. The second category is an exotic from the Lightfall. And the third category is materials that you can use for upgrading your armor, or you can have mementos that you can choose that will change the color of your weapons. So moving on, we have moments of Triumph 2023 and we'll end on June the 4th. So lots of time to work your way through 30 achievements. But for the seal, you only need 26 out of the 30 triumphs to get the title. But good news is we receive some nice rewards on the way. For 5 triumphs, you can purchase a memento t-shirt. For 14 triumphs, the Laurel exotic ghost shell. And for 21, an awesome fire gilt quadriga exotic sparrow. And 26 triumphs gets you the bragging rights and the seal and triumph. So lots to do. So next up we have this week's exotic mission on rotation, and it's the returning press arch. Lots of fun and lots of parkour, and the mission has mechanics all the way through to the boss, which requires activating switches that open trapdoors that holds a unique buff that needs to be shot to apply the buff. This allows you to pass through special doors that will insta-kill you, and it will take you all the way through the dungeon to the last boss. It's same mechanic switches that will start a DPS phase at the final boss. Once completed, the boss rewards the exotic scout rifle, the Dead Man's Tale, that now can be crafted. Plus, the mission has some amazing meta legendary weapons that are fully craftable and can be farmed for the pattern. So here's a table of legendary weapons that I think and personally use myself. So most of the weapons in the top row are PvP. So top left is the beloved solar sniper rifle that can obviously be crafted with enhanced PvP perks. In the middle at the top is the kinetic hand cannon. Again, it can be crafted with enhanced PvP perks, and this is called the Ostringer. And the top right is called the Barak. It's a sidearm, but it may actually come in useful this season. 1, it's for barriers, use sidearms. 2, it's a solar and it rolls with an enhanced incandescent, so it may be worthwhile getting that. The bottom middle is the Cold Denial Void Trace Rifle, also another really nice weapon and works really well with Void characters. In the middle to the right hand side, we have Bump in the Night rocket launcher. This was meta. It's a stasis rocket launcher. It did receive a big nerf, but you never know with Bungie. Weapons come and go. Bottom left is the shotgun called Without Remorse. I think it goes in the kinetic slot. And for the bottom right, we have Nezarec's Whisper Glaive. So, if I had a choice, or if I only had a bit of time, depending if you want PvP or PvE, I would definitely go and farm for the Callus Mini-Tool submachine gun and maybe the Hollow Denial. Or obviously, if you're a lover of PvP, but then obviously you'd go for the top weapons. But I wouldn't miss out. You've got all week to farm to get the patterns, so it's definitely worth doing. And happy farming. So next up we have this week's Rotator Legendary Dungeon, and it's actually one of the oldest dungeons in Destiny and was one of the first dungeons to be given to us, and that is Shattered Throne. It has the same vibe of the Last Wish raid, and the dungeon could do with a big update. But it's super fun to do with lots of parkour and a long dungeon. The last boss is very quick to do and drops weapons from the Dreaming City. And here is a table of weapons that may drop and some nice looking armor as well if you're after the cosmetic ornaments. So up next we have this week's Grandmaster, and it's one of my favourite, and it's the Corrupted. Champions are as follows: Unstoppable and Overload. Shields are Arc, Solar and Void. Threat is Arc and Stasis and Solar Surge. And Overcharge is Rockets. The Grandmaster is amazing. Having the right survivability build is also key. Polaris Lance is super OP and really helps a lot with doing a lot of ranged fighting. The adept weapon for this week is the Azum Solar Sniper Rifle that can drop with some great perks. So up next we have this week's raid on rotation, and it's the return of Vault of the Glass. This raid is fantastic and drops an exotic that everyone seems to want, the Vex Mytha class. It's a fully auto fusion rifle that has no charge time and 2 firing modes. It shoots like an auto rifle, but after every 6 kill, you can switch to a linear type sniper rifle that fires 3 powerful shots. So the raid was originally launched back in Destiny 1, but has been revamped for us in Destiny 2. The raid is super fun and great mechanics and really easy to learn. The raid also drops some amazing weapons like the hand cannon, the Fatebringer, but the raid also has a master version and drops adept weapons, and each checkpoint has its own unique weapons. So for example, the Time Lost Fatebringer is at the Templar. There is cheeses available at the Templar and at the last boss if needed. And if you're wanting the Vex, just find a cheese farm at the boss that is so easy and one phase the boss. And that's the quickest way farming to get the Vex. So happy farming, guys. Last but not least, but saving the very best for last, and that is Master Crota and his weekly challenge to get a guaranteed adept weapon. This week is the easiest and definitely worth getting done on all 3 characters. The challenge is called Conservation of Energy. This is at the start with the lamps. It's super easy to do. Chalice of Light needs to be deposited at every podium, but you don't have to enlighten at every lamp. This takes too long and more risks of dying. Strand is the best way in there, and Eager's Edge sword. But don't worry, you don't need to be amazing with the sword. Just use grapple and swipe with R1. Try to keep up with your team or risk of ads killing you. So I normally have one person to have the buff, and that's for emergency. So if you don't make it to the next podium, then you can use the buff at the last 10 seconds. And if it gets used, then you can get another person to get enlightened again. If you have someone in the raid that doesn't know the way or doesn't know where the traps are, they can stay at the very first lamp, get them enlightened, and they can hold the buff while the rest of the team get as far as they can on the time that they've been given and dunk at the next podium and saving the buff for emergency, and you'll be blasting your way through. So have a great time in Master Crota. But sadly, we've come to the end, and if you've enjoyed the content, please leave a comment and hit the subscribe. This helps me to grow my channel so I can affiliate my channel and make a lot more content. Thank you for watching. I apologise for the sound, technical issues, and enjoy the rest of the week. And I'll catch up soon. Laters.